Welcome to the Biopharma Business Intelligence Unit, where symbolic integrity meets strategic clarity. At BBIU, we go beyond the headlines to decode the structural forces behind global biopharma, AI, and economic realignment. If you value precision, verification, and symbolic depth, this channel is for you. Subscribe now to access our weekly briefings, dossiers, and intelligence reports, and consider joining our institutional tier to unlock early warning systems, custom metrics, and exclusive strategic insight. You're not just listening, you're entering the future of epistemic intelligence. www.biopharmabusinessintelligenceunit.com.
Nuclear submarines for South Korea, strategic authorization or symbolic extraction. Executive summary. On October 29, 2025, Donald Trump announced that the United States authorizes South Korea to construct a nuclear-powered submarine as part of a broader economic agreement involving tariff reduction, 25%, 15%, LNG purchases, and a South Korean investment commitment of USD $350 billion. President Lee Jae-myung requested U.S. approval for access to naval nuclear fuel and for easing restrictions on fuel reprocessing, stressing that South Korea is not seeking nuclear-armed submarines, but conventionally armed vessels powered by nuclear propulsion. This marks a historic break from U.S. non-proliferation policy, with military, geoeconomic, and symbolic consequences across the Indo-Pacific. BBIU opinion. The announced U.S.-South Korea submarine deal is not a bilateral win-win, but rather a structured extraction of industrial and nuclear sovereignty. For Washington, the equation is straightforward. Keep construction anchored in Philadelphia, secure long-term jobs and contracts for the U.S. defense industrial base, and lock Seoul into a controlled supply of nuclear fuel. By controlling enrichment rights and the reprocessing cycle, the U.S. transforms a one-time approval into a durable instrument of political leverage. For Seoul, the temptation is clear. Break out of dependence on Westinghouse and imported uranium rods, valorize the vast spent fuel already accumulated, and claim parity against a nuclear-armed North Korea. Yet the sovereignty gained is largely symbolic unless the U.S. grants true access to enrichment or reprocessing, a step that would immediately trigger non-proliferation alarms. China and North Korea will not miss the signal. Beijing will interpret this as an AUKUS-style naval encirclement, while Pyongyang will seize the narrative to justify further warhead production and missile tests. The structural outcome is strategic distancing between Seoul and Beijing, which is precisely what Washington seeks, turning South Korea into a committed naval industrial satellite while extracting $350 billion in parallel economic concessions. The real risk for Korea lies in accepting borrowed sovereignty, a nuclear submarine hull with its propulsion heart permanently chained to U.S. supply lines. Without explicit clauses for phased autonomy, LEU-based R&D, and transparent IAEA arrangements, the deal locks South Korea into dependency while exposing it to regional escalation. Final BBIU line. This is not a gift of technology, but a carefully designed industrial tether. South Korea may brandish the nuclear submarine as a symbol of strength, but unless enrichment rights are secured and safeguarded, it remains a vessel of American leverage rather than Korean independence. You've reached the end of the open section of this BBIU content. The complete analysis, with full data, structural frameworks, and extended annexes, is available exclusively to our subscribers. At BBIU, we believe the real value lies beyond headlines, in the depth of structural intelligence that helps leaders and organizations see further. If you want access to the complete archive and future reports, join us at BBIU and take part in the next level of analysis.